Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, we spend so much time obsessing over keeping our machines running, right? But what happens when the human gears of coordination grind to a halt? Today, we're uncovering a concept called invisible downtime. It's a ground-level observation from our source material that's honestly going to completely shift how you view operational efficiency and productivity. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this with a quote that basically shatters a massive operational myth. This comes from Salah Abdi. He's a warehouse associate who spent 2 years observing the floor on weekend shifts, and he nailed it with this single thought. He says, when people hear the word downtime, they usually think about machines. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people. Work is happening, but visibility is gone. That waiting becomes invisible downtime. That right there, that's our whole thesis today. We aren't talking about a broken conveyor belt. We are talking about broken communication. So, let's pin down exactly what we mean here. Invisible downtime is productive time lost when requests lose visibility immediately after they are submitted. Think about the last time you asked for something totally critical to do your job. The second that requests leave your hands, it kind of enters a void, doesn't it? Suddenly you're missing crucial answers. Who owns it now? Where is it in the queue? What's its priority? And, when is it actually going to be done? That void, that lack of answers, is the exact birthplace of invisible downtime. Which brings us to the daily coordination cycle and exactly how this time simply disappears from the shift. The source outlines this repeating coordination pattern in 5 distinct steps. We've got 1, request, 2, invisible, 3, waiting, 4, follow-up, and 5, time lost. Let's walk through these real quick so you can see exactly where the breakdown happens. It all starts here with step 1, the request. On the surface, seems totally harmless. Work needs doing, so a request gets submitted. But the fatal flaw is that these requests are incredibly informal. It's a passing comment in the hallway, maybe a quick radio call, or a sticky note slapped on a desk. By starting the process informally, we are literally setting a trap for information to slip right through the cracks. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that crossed-out I. It perfectly captures step 2, invisible. Because the request was informal, tracking completely vanishes the second the conversation ends. Poof, gone. The person who needs the work done has zero idea if the request was logged, if someone's actively on it, or if it was just flat out forgotten. And that leads us straight into step 3, waiting. Because there's absolutely no status update, productive work just stalls out entirely. The associate who made the request can't move forward with their primary task. They're quite literally just standing by, trapped in this weird state of uncertainty, waiting for a piece of the puzzle that they can't even verify is being made. While human nature dictates you can only wait so long before doing something, right? Boom, step 4, the follow-up. The person waiting gets desperate. They start calling again. They walk all the way over to another department. They start tapping people on the shoulder. This frantic need for an update causes a massive spike in interruptions. So now, not only is the original worker stalled, but they are actively stalling other support workers just to get a status update. The chaos just multiplies. And finally, the cycle concludes at step 5. Time is officially lost. We end up with these compounding, unmeasured daily delays. Actually, a lot of requests end up creating work twice, once to actually perform the task, and a whole second set of work just to find out what happened to the request in the first place. Because this frantic loop relies entirely on human memory and physical interruptions, it silently drains overall productivity all day long. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a localized problem. Let's look at this widespread waste and how it becomes a true cross-department contagion. Check out this breakdown. We've got distinct departments here: material handling, maintenance, quality, and sanitation. These teams do completely different physical tasks, yet they all share the exact same core challenge: the loss of visibility after submission. The common enemy here is never the physical work itself. Turning a wrench, doing a quality check, that stuff is straightforward. The friction always comes from that shared loss of coordination across those departmental lines. So, what's the actual damage? Let's break down the hidden human and business cost across every layer of the organization. First up, the operational impact. The business suffers immensely from this. We're talking about tiny delays, maybe a few minutes here, a few minutes there, but they repeat hundreds of times a day. When you aggregate those tiny delays, they form massive, hidden bottlenecks. It leads directly to lost productive time and significantly longer response times for critical needs. Basically, the facility is running with the parking brake on. But we absolutely can't ignore the very real human cost here. Imagine being an associate just trying to crush your shift, but you're constantly met with waiting and uncertainty. You're dealing with frequent interruptions from people hunting down information. This inevitably breeds intense systemic frustration. It is incredibly demoralizing to want to be productive, but feel blocked by this invisible barrier of poor coordination. And for leadership, well, they're essentially managing in the dark. They suffer from limited visibility, which forces them into a corner of making purely reactive decisions. Think about it. You literally cannot proactively manage or eliminate waste that you can't see. So leaders are stuck putting out fires instead of preventing them, completely unaware of the hidden waste draining their shift's potential. So the absolutely crucial point is this. None of this shows up as a line item on an official report. You are never going to see a financial statement that says loss due to people walking around asking for updates. No way. This massive operational drain hides perfectly inside everyday coordination. It just looks like people being busy, when in reality, they're just being utilized poorly. Instead of trying to optimize in silos, we have to flip the script. The solution is making work visible. And this brilliantly illustrates the paradigm shift we're talking about. Look at the current state on the left. Relying entirely on memory, making phone calls, walking across a massive warehouse floor, actively interrupting someone else's workflow. It's chaotic, right? Now contrast that with the future state on the right, a shared system where requests stay visible from submission all the way to completion. Status and ownership are always known. Instead of chasing information, you just have it. Interruptions drop and coordination flows naturally. When you establish that end-to-end visibility, it acts like a system-wide upgrade. Look at how every single role benefits here. Associates on the floor instantly get their request status and an ETA. No more guessing. Support teams get a clear, prioritized work queue instead of a barrage of random radio calls. Supervisors can finally spot real-time bottlenecks and balance workloads dynamically. And executives gain a high-level view of operational health and long-term trends. The whole shebang. Everyone wins because everyone is operating from the exact same source of truth. Let's move to the real opportunity here and see how this builds to our ultimate takeaway. This isn't about replacing people or even changing their core responsibilities. The opportunity is to make work visible end-to-end. By doing that, you systematically reduce that invisible downtime and hidden waste. You aren't just digitizing a checklist, you are strengthening your entire operational performance. Visibility literally has to be treated as a core operational capability, not just some neat tech feature. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative question to reflect on. Based on everything we've unpacked in this explainer, if you truly treat visibility as an operational capability, how much invisible waste could you eliminate if every single request in your facility was tracked transparently from end to end? It's a wild thought to consider. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the hidden world of operational coordination. Catch you next time.